Okay, now we go back to chapter 2. Okay, I don't really cover everything in chapter 2 because you will learn the same thing, okay? Some of the topics in chapter 2 in your research methodology class. So I only focus on some topics which I think is very important for you to know before you can proceed with your other chapters, all right? So chapter 2 basically on data and also sampling. So we already discussed this one in chapter 1. What does it mean by the word census, sampling, and survey? But we are more focused on the census and survey, especially survey, because the majority of students here, I'm sure when you do your FYP, you will apply survey rather than census and experiment and also observation. The majority of the students, okay? So the difference between census and survey, okay? So census is actually for the population. When you do a study on the population, so then we call it as census. But when you do a study on the sample, which is a part of your population, then we call it as survey, right? So, and then the statistic that we use when we use population, so we need to use descriptive statistics, okay? I'm actually repeating just what we have learned before. And then if you have sample, so it means that you can use inferential statistics. Okay. So if you don't have a sample in your study, so it means that you no longer, you cannot use inferential statistics. You can only use descriptive statistics. Okay. Right. So again, census, survey, okay, descriptive, and then inferential. Okay. So, but if you are using sample, so it means you can use both descriptive and also inferential. Right. What does it mean by sampling? Okay. The word sampling and census is actually two different meaning. Sample is a part of your population. Sampling is the process of taking sample from your population. That's what we call it as sampling. Right. So census again for population and survey for um, sample. Okay. The process of taking sample from, and you take sample from the population, this one we call it as sampling, right? So is everybody clear? Right. So what do you need to do? Okay, when you are actually select the sampling unit from your population. So you need to select the individual unit for the sample on the sampling procedure of the chosen sampling technique. Okay, this one I'm not going to emphasize in this class, but you're going to learn all the sampling techniques, and it's actually is in the book, yeah, on page 16, right? So, but you will learn more this one in your research methodology class, right? So then collect data from the sampling unit. So it's up to you whether you want to actually select employees, tourists, teachers, houses, whatever, right? And usually what we use is actually questionnaire, right? So questionnaire is called as instrument or research instrument. Research instrument. Or you can even use interviews or observation for primary data collection. So what does it mean by primary data collection? Primary data collection is when you are the one who collect the data yourself with your own eyes, with your own effort, all right? But secondary data is when you use somebody else's data. So for example, you get the data from the website, you get it from the uh, company's report, annual report, and so on. So you are not the one who collect the data, but you use that data, these people's data, for your data analysis. So this one is your own, and this one is other others. Okay. So you need to understand. Okay, when you write your chapter 3 in your FYP, you need to tell your examiner and also your readers whether the data that you are using for your analysis either primary data or secondary data. Okay, ada siapa yang nak tanya? Anyone? Muhammad Uslu, are you here? Uslu? Okay, I don't think this person ada dekat dalam kelas ni. Because you know what, otherwise saya okay, actually this is what I did. I always did. So if a student, you know, does not exist in my class for 3 times, I consider that person is actually not interested in my class, and actually tend to drop my subject. Okay, and even I will give you a notice that you are no longer in my class, right? So 3 times, because statistics, if you don't attend 3 times, you will be totally lost, right? Especially when it comes to the calculation part. All right. So I think Oslo ni tak ada. How about Shafa? Shafa, are you here?
Yes, dokter.
Okay. So how are you, Shafa? You're already in Indonesia?
Ya, dokter.
Okay. So, all right. So, but you are still waiting for your book. You still don't have your book, right?
Yeah, I still don't have my book.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue the next one. So when is actually sampling not used? Okay, when we don't need to use sample when our population size is very small, less than 50. Okay, so usually for FYP, the requirement for you to get the data is at least 50. So if you don't have, you know, big data, 50 or 30, all right, so we suggest you to do census instead of use survey, right? So for example, the sampling frame list, the names is 41 Health Tourism Hospital in Malaysia. So you only have like 41 hospitals, all right? So therefore, we will advise you to use census instead of survey. Right. So when sampling is needed, so when we hardly know who makes up the entire population. So for example, you want to do a study in for the customers in Giant, right? Giant Johor Bahru. So what happens? You don't know how many actually customers are Giant customers. Then we need to do sampling, right? So when there are cost and time constraint, okay. Usually what happens, we don't use population when we have 3 constraints. One is the cost, 2 time, and then 3 human resource, right? So you don't have many people to help you to do the survey, for example. So then it's better for you to use a sample, right? When lists are really up to date. So for example, you want to do for a company, and then the management of the company told you that, oh, we don't have the current number of our employees because of the COVID-19. After the COVID-19, we don't really update the list of our employees. Then you need to use sample. Okay, and then when the sample data are sufficient for decision making. So for example, we don't have to do to take the whole population, because if we just take sample from the population, it's already enough for us to make decision. Okay, and then how can you determine the sample size? So there are many ways of doing it. So the first thing is use a sample size calculator, which is very, very trending nowadays. Okay, instead of using manual, now you can have a sample size calculator online. So I will show you after this, okay, right after this. And then we also can use the formula, statistical formula, and also statistical rules in order to decide how many actually people, how many sample do we need for a certain population. And then a minimum sample of 30 is required. Okay, so this is very, very important. If you have less than 30, so it means that your population is very, very small and you don't need to take any sample. All right, so the minimum sample size that you need to take is 30. So therefore your population must have at least 50 in order for you to take sample, right? And then the desired data analysis, okay? Okay. And then it depends on your data analysis method that you use. Different method require different sample size. Okay? And people on page 19, right? Krigi and Morgan table. So I want you to just put cross, right? So just put it cross, because I don't want my students to use it anymore. I just share it with you in order for you to know this Krigi and Morgan when people say it, mention it. But it is too outdated, right? So it's in 1970. So therefore, I don't encourage you. I don't want you, not just encourage, I don't want you to use it for your FYP. Instead, I would like you to use this Cohen, Mannion, and also Morrison table 2001. Okay. So this Cohen, Mannion, and also Morrison table is actually to for us to determine how many sample size we need for a certain population. Okay, so for example, if you have only 10 people in your population, so it
Always
means
scan
that,
this section.
okay, I'm going to use this one, this column right here, the 5% column. Okay, so it means that we need to take all of them, right? So because it's too small. And if we have 20, the population size is 20, we need to take 19, just miss one person, right? So if you can see, actually the significant changes starts from 30 and above. So that's the reason the minimum requirement of a sample should be, of a population should be 30. And we can see it's more significant when it comes to 50. So that's the reason FYP needs you to have at least 50 population in order for you to select sample in your study, right? So then this is the calculator, right? What does it mean by 5%? 3.5, 2.5, you will learn it in our future chapters, all right? So just be patient, but I just tell you, so you just use the 5% column for a time being. And then the online sample calculator, this one is very, very useful, right? So it is called as Rossoff sample size calculator. Okay, everyone, what I want you to do now, I would like you to take your handphone and then search for, or you can use your PC, your laptop, or whatever. I would like you to go to Mr. Google and then search for Rossoff calculator. Can you please do it now? Okay. Okay, Aiman, you already got it. Okay, who else? Okay, Tika. Okay. Okay, Kila. Good. Right. Aida. Okay, very good. Okay. Now, how are we going to use this ROSOF? Okay. So it's very, very simple and user friendly. So the first one is, what is the margin error? The margin error is, as I told you before, we just choose 5%, right? So, and then what is the confidence level? Confidence level is actually the remainder from when we deduct, 100 minus 5, then we get 95%. So basically what I can say, 5% is actually the error or the risk that we are willing to take, okay? 95% is the confident or the accuracy that we want, okay? That's what it means, right? So for example, your population size is 500 people. So I would like you to enter 500 in your calculator, okay? This rows of calculator. And then it says, what is the response distribution? So response distribution will be 50. What does it mean by 50? Because we have, everybody have equal chance of being selected. Remember, random, the word random. So 50% not being selected or 50% not being selected. So you need to enter this one 50, right? And then this is what happened. So it will calculate for us actually the n. The number of sample that we need is 218. So that's what it means for the 500 people. So we need to choose 218 respondents or sample from this population. Okay, understand? Okay, so let's go back. So we have 500 people. Look at the table here. All right, this is how we do manually. So if you can see the same number, almost the same number, 500, it says that you need to take 217. But the calculator, the ROSOF, is more accurate. So it says 218 people. Okay. Is everybody okay? Semua okay ke? Faham ke? What happened? Okay, good. So remember just now we said if we want, if I said not you, not we. Okay, I said that if we want to do a survey in Giant Johor Bahru, and we don't know actually how many customers actually Giant has. All right, so it can be hundreds, it can be millions, it can be thousands, right? So if you can see here down here in the table, right? So if you have like 3 million, you have 1 million, you have 500,000 people, but the maximum actually you can take is 384 people, or your sample is 384 is already enough to represent a very, very big population. So you don't have to worry much. So it doesn't mean that 1 million people you need to take 500,000 respondents. No, 384 is already enough. Okay, understand? Faham ke? Okay, sebab apa? Why am I telling you all this? Because it's going to be your next assignment, right? So you need to do this one. Okay, so this is how kalau you tengok this one, okay, the sample size calculator. Right. So as I told you, the calculator is more accurate. Just now, from the table, from Cohen Marin and also more recent table said that if you have, you know, like 1 million ke, so the sample size is already enough for you to take 384. Okay. So the calculator will calculate for you very, very accurate based on the formula. This is the formula for finding the sample from a population, right? So, but when it comes to a very big population, we just refer to the manual table. Okay, so the next one is target population. What does it mean by target population? Okay, for example, I would like to study on the um, Celcom customers, okay, ataupun Celcom employees, okay, Celcom. So the Celcom employees, it can be very, very big. Okay. So for our FYP, we are not going uh, to use all of them. So instead, we are going to take a sample, right? So the sample, for example, Celcom in which branch? Okay, branch. Okay, in which branch? So this one will be our target population, right? And then the sample, for example, will be only from the finance department. So the sample will be taken only from our target population, but the real population, it will be very, very big. Okay? So that's what it means by the target population. Okay, okay, untuk simple random sampling, so you need to define your population, you need to choose your sample size, and then list the population. So how do you determine the sample size? By using that table, okay, Cohen, Murray et al, okay, and the friends, okay, and then also you can guna yang Rosov calculator. Right. And then you list all the population. So when it means list all the population, this is what we call it as sampling frame. And then we start assign numbers to unit, find the random numbers, select your sample. Right, so I will show you how to use the random numbers table. So what we are going to do in next Sunday next week, I would like you to find a list of names of people, at least 100 people. Boleh tak you buat? You can get it from the, not 100 lah, okay, 50. Okay, so at least 50. So it can be name of students in the class, name of the customers. You can get it Google somewhere. Okay, name of, you know, the list name of people who buy through Shopee, for example. Just get 500, 500 pula, 50 names. So 50 is minimum, but the more you get, the better, because I would like to show you how to use this random number table on Sunday next week. Okay, is everybody okay? Itu your next assignment, yeah? Okay. So untuk chapter ni, that's all, right? But it's only 12 o'clock now, so we still have plenty of time. So I'm going to do introduce, or maybe introduce chapter 4, a little bit of chapter 4. Siapa yang dah ready untuk buat presentation? Anyone? Ada siapa tak? So maybe what we can do some a few groups untuk presentation hari ni, and then we continue on Wednesday. Anyone? Ada siapa yang volunteer to present today? Oh, semua tak. Because I already told you to prepare the 3 slides. Anyone? Ada sesiapa yang berani? Any volunteer? Tak ada.
Total maybe group 7.
Okay. Alright. Hold on ya. You know what? One thing about me, I like to be the first presenter. You know, that's me. Even if I go to a conference or whatever, you know, I instead I will ask the organizer, can I present the first one? Because I don't know. After after we have presented ours, so we can just listen to other people. So it will be, I think, lebih relax lah. There is something wrong with my. Kenapa tak bergerak ni? Something wrong with my mouse. Saya tahu. Okay, sekejap ya. Okay, if maybe what we can do, group 7, you can present, and then we continue with our chapter 4. Who else? Okay, maybe, yeah. Okay, Mingy.
Okay. Also, we are going to do a topic regarding to the satisfaction of in-university hostel condition among UTN students. So the location will be online or in UTN hostel, and the respondents are among UTN students, and the time will be on May until June 2022. The statistic will be applied, could be descriptive statistics, since this statistic can be do for population or sample, and the data collection method will be survey via Google Form. So these are our sample of questionnaire. So that's all from me, Doctor.
Sorry, not too fast. Okay, go back to the previous slide. Yeah, I'm still reading actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
All right. Okay, good. Thank you, Mingy and the gang. Okay, so can I just go back to the first slide? Right. So as I said, remember, okay, if you do a presentation, academic presentation, So make sure you have UTM logo, right? So that's all. Everybody needs to do that. Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Okay. Next one. Okay, so the statistics, I think since you mentioned just now, is going to be survey, right? So then the statistic, not just descriptive, I think you also need inferential statistics. So you just add descriptive and inferential statistics,
Okay, doctor.
okay? Right? So people, you need to keep all these slides because you later on you need to add more. All right. So when I give you more assignment, then you need to add more slides because it will at the end of the when I say submit. So only then you need to submit the whole thing in the Google Drive and also e-learning. Right. Okay. Next one. Right. Okay, it's just that the temperature in the room, right? So what you need to do maybe, so is it in Celsius or in Fahrenheit? So you need to be more specific because you know your respondent wouldn't know actually your expectation, right? And then the same thing with the internet speed in the hostel. Okay, so what do you mean by what speed? What is the measurement of the speed that you want, right? So you just put, you know, maybe a dash and then whatever, all right? And then, so for example, dash for the temperature, dash Celsius, something like that, right? And then how many times do you wake up in the middle of the night because of the noise outside the room? So maybe you need to be more specific. As I said, dash times. So maybe they put 1, 2, 3, and so on. The best is actually you put in bracket example. So for example, you know, 1 time, 2 times, and so on. All right. So I think the rest are okay. Yeah, it's good. Okay, good. Very good.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
doctor.
Anyone else?
Doctor, I can present, but we are not 100% complete. Is it fine if I just show it to
As
you
long
first?
as you have 3 slides, Hasib, it will be okay.
Okay, great. I guess I'll share.
Okay.
Right. So can you see my screen, Doctor?
Yes. Not
Right.
yet.
So
It's still loading.
okay.
Okay.
Right. So I am from Group 3. I'm myself representing my group. Our topic is the usage of e-payment among UTM students, and these are our research
Hasib, can
questions.
you make it slide presentation?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yep. Is
Okay,
it?
great. Yeah.
Yeah, the first research question is which age category uses e-payment the most, the frequency of respondents using e-payment, popularity, types of payment because we have lots of e-payment methods, and finally the benefits of using the e-payment. And yeah, the location is we are targeting UTM Johor campus. We're doing it for 2 weeks, but we did not decide on the specific time yet because Dr. advised us to hold on first, right? So we are. And the main respondents will be students studying in UTM Johor Bahru. So the data collection method is online survey. We will be using Google Form, and our target participants are more than 30 people. Doctor, do you have any questions for this? Because I'm going to share with you the Google Form. We have gender, age, current level of education, faculty. Do you use e-payment? If you have never used internet banking, what are the reasons? Which category best explains their usual situation? What are the reasons for choosing online banking services? How often do you go to the bank, and how often do you use payment methods? Which of the following apply to you? Like, do you use internet banking? Have you read online security and so on? It's more of like a general perception of them towards e-payment. Then an overall analysis. We're still adding a few more questions for discrete. So far, we have 2 questions. How many times a week do you use e-payment? How far away
Okay.
is
All
how
right.
about
This is okay. Okay. what I noticed that you only have for the categorical data, okay, qualitative data. Okay,
Yep.
because you said here, this one discrete, for everybody else, okay, please listen carefully. Okay, this is not discrete data. Okay, why, okay, go back, yeah. Why this one is already categorical data because you already put in 1 to 3, 4 to 6. When we see discrete, you they must provide exactly the exact number. You know,
Oh,
for
okay.
just now for the Mingy's group, how many times? So they need to tell 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So you cannot provide them the answer, but they need to provide you the answer. Okay? Uh, okay, you just put dash, yeah. How far, you know, and then you know, like meters, kilometers, or whatever. So I think maybe you need to use meters, right? So
Okay.
but it's just that you need to be very, very careful, okay? When you say how far away is the nearest ATM. So some people may put it one, you know, like 700 meters. Okay, so it's okay. But if you ask in kilometer, it will be very, very dangerous. Why did I say
Oh,
that? They might put 1.5 kilometer.
right.
Already
Okay.
continuous. It's no longer discrete.
Got it. Got it.
Okay. So we need to be very, very careful. Okay. So then for the continuous, the one that you, yes, it's okay. The average amount used for e-payments in a week. You need to be more specific. In a week, in a month. All right. So just put RM, how much per week. Okay. So just put them to fill in the blank.
Okay.
All right. So that one is continuous. So I hope everybody else can understand the difference between, you know, quanti and quali data. So because I know even not just you people, my PhD student also have the same problem. They confuse between, you know, this categorical data and, you know, quanti. Because once you already give them options, it's no longer quantitative. It's already categorical data, right? Okay, good. Anything else?
That's it for now. We will add another question for discrete and another two for continuous, and we'll add
Yes.
cyclical form. I think I'll pass it to you, doctor, to like do a final check before we proceed with anything else.
Okay, thank you so
Right.
much. Okay,
Right. Thank you, doctor.
good. Okay. Anybody else?
Doctor,
Yes.
my group haven't completely finished yet, but can we try to present it?
Yeah, sure, Huyen. Yeah, why not?
Wait, I'm sharing the content. Can see my screen?
Yes.
Good afternoon to doctor and all my friends. Wait. We are from group 2, and then our research topic will be the movie watching preference among UTM students. And then regarding the question 3 about the 4W question, about the where is the location, we decide to use the social media. Example is WhatsApp to spread our questionnaire, but we haven't create our Google form yet. And then for respondent, the respondent will be the UTM students. For the suitable time, it will be during the assignment period. And then for the statistic, do we want to apply? We will applying by the inferential analysis. Then for the question 4, we will collect the data through Google Form and spread it to the UTM student as a survey. And then the next question is our research instrument will be the questionnaire. This is our survey question that we will put in the Google form later. For the discrete question, the first one is, how many people do you usually watch the movie with? And then the second one is, how many platforms do you use to watch the movie? And the third question is, how many times will you rewatch the same movie that you prefer? And then for the continuous question, the first one is we will ask regarding the respondent age. And then second one is we will ask how much that they pay to watch the movie. And the third one is we will ask regarding the how much they will pay for the subscription fees either by Netflix or other platforms. For the nominal ones, the first question we will ask about the respondent gender. Second is respondent nationality, and the third one is where they prefer to watch the movie at. And for the ordinal, the first question will be which is the best movie for in their perspective, and then we will list down some choices for them. The second one is we will ask how often that they will spend time to watch movie, and the last one is we will ask about their satisfaction level for the movie that they are watching.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, but and then the last question regarding the wait,
Okay. So maybe what we can do, we start from slide number 1. Let's have a look at slide number 1.
is this one?
No. The very first one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Movie watching preference. Okay. Next. Okay. So when you say where is the location? Okay. Location is different. What you are saying here on social media and so on. What actually the question is what is the media that they are using? So it's totally different. So when I say where is the location, it's supposed to be just like other people just now, in Johor Bahru, in UTM, where actually your respondents. So your respondents will be UTM students. So which UTM? UTM Johor Bahru? Then that's the location. Okay, on social media is very good, but the question should be what is the medium, right?
Okay.
Okay, so two different things, right? And then also for the D part, the statistic that you want to apply is supposed to be both descriptive and also inferential. Okay, when you are using sample, actually for the descriptive is compulsory. Okay, so everybody needs to use descriptive, whether you have sample or not, right? And then how you to collect the data, all right? So usually the right word we don't use spread, but we use distribute, right?
Okay.
Right, you just change that one. Okay, next one.
Wait.
Okay, so for the discrete part, okay. It's just that maybe for the how many platform do you use to watch movie? Okay, so maybe you can give example in a bracket. What do you mean by platform? Is it maybe people thought that cinema, maybe people thought Netflix, maybe people thought it's like other website. So you need to be more specific. But what do you mean by platforms, right?
Right.
Okay, and then nominal is wrong spelling. No R. Okay. Okay, I think the rest are okay. Okay, good. Good work. Right.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Okay, anyone else? Okay, anyone? So if not, I will go straight to chapter 4 for the introduction of chapter 4.
Doctor,
ada lagi? Alifah, nak present ke?
yes.
Okay, okay.
But we
Jom,
are not finished it yet. There is some
Tak apa, Alifah. Go ahead.
Okay, so the location of the process of the study. So the location is
Tajuk dia. Tajuk
Okay.
awal.
Sorry.
Alifah, I'm here to listen. Okay, buat slideshow.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Slideshow.
So our title is the satisfactory level of UTM students to a UTM cafeteria. Next is the process of the study. Our location is at the UTM cafeteria. The time is we did for 2 weeks. Type of statistic is inferential. The respondent is UTM student. And our method of data collection is survey. Next.
Siapa yang jaga ni, Alifah? Siapa yang jaga slide you?
Me, wait.
Tu buka slideshow sebab saya tak nampak sangat.
Oh, sorry, Doctor.
Tak apa.
Okay. So the question for
Okay,
each
alright.
type of variable. The first one is quantitative. We have two types, discrete and continuous. For discrete, the first question is how many times that you will have a meal a day. Number two is how many times that you will go to the UTM cafeteria. Question number 3 is numbers of food prepared in menu. For the continuous, number 1 is how much that you will spend for having one meal in UTM cafeteria. Number 2 is how much the range price that's suitable for students to buy. And the last question is what is the internet speed in UTM cafeteria. For the qualitative questions, we have two types also, nominal and ordinal. For nominal, the first question is the most preferable menu in UTM cafeteria. Number 2 is how do you came to UTM cafeteria? And the question 3 is which UTM cafeteria that you will recommend for your friend. For ordinal, number 1 is do you think UTM cafeteria should get the highest rate? If not, give the reason. For the question number 2, how the attitude of the seller toward the service. And number 3 is rating that you will give toward the facilities that provided by UTM cafeteria. That's all for now from our group.
Okay, alright. Pergi the first slide.
Wait, Doctor. Laptop. Kenapa aku punya cek?
Boleh tak?
Boleh Doctor jap?
Okay, buat slideshow macam tadi. Okay, pergi yang first sekali. The first one. Alright. So again, make sure you include logo UTM. Alright.
Okay, Doctor.
Okay, next. Saya rasa yang tadi tu perkataan saya baru macam terperasan. Satisfaction level kot yang maksudnya. The location, yeah, this one okay. Good, okay. Time, mungkin tadi dia cakap 2 weeks. Maybe
Yes.
you kena be more specific lah, nanti decide. Katakan berapa hari bulan sampai berapa hari bulan. Okay? Okay,
Okay.
time of statistics. So kena juga masukkan descriptive. Okay? descriptive, then you get inferential. Right. So yang lain okay. Next one. Nasib baik you punya gambar makanan ni hitam putih. Dah lah orang puasa. Alright, so okay, when we look at okay how many times you dah kasih example, good, alright. Cuma again for continuous, what is the internet speed in UTM cafeteria? So make sure you also be more specific. Berapa Mbp ke whatever ke dash Mbp, so at least they know. Cuma saya macam tak faham sangat what do you mean by numbers of food prepared in menu? Apa maksud dia? Alifah?
Discrete ke doktor?
Yang discrete tu, nombor 2. Nombor 3.
Maybe the numbers of the menu, the dishes in the menu.
Okay, so maybe what mungkin sebab setiap orang akan setiap kedai mempunyai menu yang berbeza kan. So saya rasa it's not a very good question to ask lah. Okay, maybe you can find another question for this one. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, so yang lain tu saya rasa, oh okay, you dah kasih contoh, very good. Okay, do you there? Okay. I think it looks okay. Very good. Okay, well done.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so anyone else?
Doctor, I group 6 can present.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, doctor. Assalamualaikum and hi doctor. We are from group 6 and our research topic is satisfaction level using UTM e-learning among UTM students. Okay, our process of study, the location we do in UTM for UTM or Ahid Fakulti, and the respondent is fully UTM students. The time is not sure yet, but we put after mid-sem. And statistic that we use to apply is descriptive statistics. Data collection is also survey by Google Form. Our question for continuous is we include age and how much time do you spend visiting e-learning, average internet speed in Mbps, for discrete, how many time e-learning facing technical problem in a month, the numbers of notification that you will receive from e-learning in a week, how many time do you use the message drawer on e-learning in a month. So next, for qualitative, nominal, we use respondent names, sex, when do you usually open and use e-learning. For ordinal, date of survey, when was the last time you opened the e-learning, and how would you rate the level of satisfaction with the e-learning system? That's all.
Okay, alright. Pergi balik yang the first kita slide by slide, okay? This one okay? Okay. Cuma yang again yang this one pun sama sebab you buat survey Roha, so make sure you include inferential sebab
Okay.
you ada buat survey so the rest okay. Next. Okay, continuous, again this one the same mistake macam group Hasif, so you tak boleh buat 18 to 20, this one dah already categorical data, qualitative. So
Alright.
you kena buat macam dash years old, something like that. Alright.
Okay.
And then how much time do you spend visiting e-learning? So again, diorang kena open-ended juga. You kena letak dash hour. Okay.
Oh.
So how much time do you spend visiting e-learning? You nak per day ke per hour per week ke? So you kena be more specific.
Alright.
So next, average internet speed. Again, you can just put dash Mbp. Macam gitu. Okay. Untuk discrete, okay. Next one. Nominal, okay. Alright. So okay. Okay, good. Very
Thanks,
good.
Doctor.
Okay. Okay, ada lagi? I still open to anyone? Okay, kalau sekiranya tak ada, so let's go to chapter 4, just introduction. So we will continue for the chapter 4 nanti on Sunday nanti, alright? So because on Wednesday we are going to focus on the presentation of the groups. Okay, so let me share this one. Okay, for the normal distribution, I keep mentioning normal distribution a few times actually when we discuss chapter 2 and also chapter 3, right? So normal distribution is very, very important for you to have in order to show that you are not being biased when selecting your sample from your population, okay? So it means that I already mentioned the shape of the normal should be balanced, okay? Left and right. So it means that when you are selecting your sample from your population, so you have selected, okay, the poor one, for example, the poor one on the left, same as the good one on the right, okay? So this is how important the normal distribution for you to have in for your data analysis. So for chapter 4, what we are going to discuss is actually the shape of the distribution, the relationship between the area under the curve and probability, and why this normal curve called as normal. What does it mean by critical value? Why normality is important in data analysis. Right. So a normal distribution can be written as, okay, I think let me go to this one first. Nanti saya akan pergi balik yang this one. So normal distribution, you need to understand the shape of the normal distribution. Okay, so it is symmetric. So whatever it has the same curve, the same shape, left and also the right. And the characteristics. So if you look at your chapter 4 on page 43, okay, so those are the properties or characteristics of normal distribution. So all normal curve must have bell shape. So this is what we call it as bell shape, bentuk loceng. And then most of the curve, it says here where most of the curve under the curve falls in the middle. So it means that if you can see at this middle, the most of the data is actually located in the middle of the data set, right? And then the normal curve are symmetrical. The area under the curve is equivalent to the probability. Okay, before we go further, I just want to make some revision on probability. So probability, probability, or we can represent it by Px. P means probability. X can be anything, any event, right? So actually probability is being used by us every day, almost every day. What it's just that we don't call it probability, but we often call it maybe atau mungkin. Okay. So for example, okay, probability Px, actually measurement or the value of probability should be between 0 and 1. So when I say that the probability of X of something is 0, it means that that event will never happen, right? So like I say, what is the probability of I'm sleeping now? Okay. So for sure, the answer is 0. It wouldn't happen because I'm talking right now. Okay. And then if I say, what is the probability? What is the probability? If the probability is equal to 1, so it means that it is perfect 100% it will happen. So what is the probability I'm talking now? So the probability is 100% or the probability is equal to 1. 100% that event will happen. Okay, so but in our apa orang cakap the way we talk, our daily life, we use perkataan maybe or mungkin. So for example, you say, okay, you ask your friend, are you going to bazaar Ramadan after this, today? And then your friend is not really sure. Then dia cakap, mungkin lah aku pergi. Maybe I will go. Okay. So when your friend say, maybe, so that one is actually represent probability. Probably it will happen, probably it won't happen. Okay. So later in this chapter 4, your answer should be between 0 and 1 because we need to calculate the probability. So that's why it says that the probability, the area, this area under the curve is actually represent probability. Okay, so if the total of the probability is equal to 1, so what is the probability of area A and probability of area B? So what's the answer? Anyone? Saraswati.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so what do you think? Probability of A equal to what?
Doctor, I didn't get it. Sorry.
Okay.
Probability. Oh,
So,
okay. Equal to. Oh, doctor asking, is it equal to 0 or 1, something like that?
okay, but I mentioned just now that the area under the curve of this normal curve is actually to represent probability. And then this normal curve is actually symmetrical. So the area A and B should be the same. This one is area A and area B will be the same area. Okay.
Yeah.
So then what is the probability for A? Area A.
Not sure, doctor.
Okay. So what is actually the the maximum number, the maximum value for probability? Do you know?
No, doctor. Is
Okay.
it 50%?
Yes, 50%. All right.
Okay.
So now at least you just got it. All right. So
Okay,
this
okay.
one 0.5. Okay. So what happened? Nadiatul. What is the probability for area B? The area B, berapa dia punya probability? Yeah, should be 0.5. Yeah, distribution. Ejaan pun salah. Distribution. Okay, For sure, it also 0.5 because they have equal area. Kawasan, keluasannya mesti sama. Okay. And then when you add probability A and probability B, the answer should be 1 because probability, the maximum value will be 1. All right. So what I want you to do, okay, so on page 43, so I would like you to include this explanation I just mentioned, all right, for you to draw the area under the curve and also the probability for area A and also area B. The next one, it says here, the distribution extend to infinity in both direction, where the tails are approaching but never touch the x-axis. Right. So one thing, another characteristics of this distribution, normal distribution, okay. One thing, another characteristic that, okay, when you draw this normal curve, this part right here, the tail, actually it goes on and on and on and on and on, infinity. But it never touch this x is equal to 0. It never touches this line, all right? So even it goes, infinity, but it never touches 0. So that's what it means by number 5, right? Okay, so I will explain to you page 44 on Sunday. It's just that at least you know what we will learn on Sunday is regarding the normal distribution, right? So you already know the distribution, the shape, and its a relationship between the area under the curve and the probability. So what does it mean? All this area is actually to represent the probability and the total will be 1, right? So our purpose for this chapter 4 is actually to calculate this probability under the curve. Okay, so we will continue. Why is it called normal? What is critical value? Why normality is important in our data analysis. Okay, before we stop our class for today, I would like to remind all of you to make sure you install SPSS before for our future class. Okay, please get it ready so it will be easy for us to use to do the next chapters using SPSS. But anyway, we are going to actually repeat chapter 1 again, chapter 1, chapter 3 using SPSS. So any questions before we say goodbye? Ada soalan ke?
Sorry, Doctor.
Yes.
For the 50 names, if I take it from username, is it okay?
Boleh, tak kisah. Okay je.
Doctor. Thank you,
So,
Doctor.
kita just we want to learn how to how to select our sample from our population using the random table. Okay.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else nak tanya apa-apa?
Doktor,
Ya,
SPSS 21 boleh guna tak doktor atau nak kena upgrade?
boleh
Okay,
sangat.
thank
Okay,
you.
welcome. Okay, lagi ada sesiapa nak tanya? You better ask me now. Yes. Okay, so you, all right. So my suggestion, what you can do, you do it somewhere else, not in UTM. Okay, you know what I mean? You can have the same topic, but different respondent and different location. That will be okay. No problem. Okay. 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 No problem. Okay. Who else? Anything else?
Doctor, I have a question as
Yes.
well. Since we have presented now, so what is the next step? Do we proceed with the to send the respondents to get the data already?
Not yet, Hasif. Okay, not
Okay.
yet.
So we just wait.
Yeah, just wait. I will tell you on Wednesday, okay?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, you're welcome. But it's just that you need to prepare that sampling frame first. Okay? All right. For those who already scanned your attendance, you may leave our class. So I'll see you again on Wednesday to continue for the presentation and more tips, more information regarding your assignment. Right. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor. Take care.
Sure. You too. Okay. Boleh rehat kejap, boleh tidur outside.